Hi, I'm Zach with Turpin Landscape Design Build.
And I'm Kyle.
And we just finished up a 5 water feature project out in Rydal, Pennsylvania. Take a look.
So here we are. This is actually the water feature that was built second of the 5. And this is the rec pond. Man, came out phenomenal. Erwin, what made you want a rec pond?
I saw a lot of your YouTube clips, some of the other properties that you have done, and it brings me back to when I was a kid.
Yep.
You know, we used to go down the creek and, you know, the water's 3 feet deep. We're jumping in there, swimming, we're cooling off. So again, I wanted to have my grandkids have some type of exposure to, you know, a little microcosm of what I was doing as a kid. So, you know, when we talked about doing this project, I wanted to make sure that it was also interactive. So we had steps coming up here so that my grandkids could come up here, look for frogs, walk in the bog or the wetland over here and, you know, just explore.
Yep. Do
things that, you know, a normal kid should be able to do instead of just playing on his iPad or something.
This is the big part of this project. It's the swim pond. Everybody has a different way that they're looking to use their swim ponds, or even their koi ponds or their fountainscapes. But with swim ponds, we can get really customizable because they're so big. In this one, it was really important that we had the largest plunge area we could fit in the backyard and still allow easy access. So if you look at this, we've got a much bigger plunge area, which is sitting at about 5 feet of depth. And the reason for that was kind of interesting. He talked to you in the original project about this, and so when this project came up, Kyle recognized that there were some things that we could probably do in this project that be specifically special to this client. So
To have a swimmable space, to have the pond was for his grandchildren. As they're growing up, that was what was considered is right now, how will they enjoy it? How will they enjoy it in 2 or 3 years? Then later down the line. And that kind of started with the depths of the water and then leading up to that big jumping plunge rock at when they are years down the line. But probably the most unique request is that the client actually is a master scuba diver. And he saw this as a perfect opportunity to have a space right in his backyard to teach his grandchildren how to scuba dive, to start teaching them the basics.
So we really had to take into account that they were going to want to swim around underwater for longer periods of time. So there were some things that we did in here that we haven't done before, which we created these little crevices that normally we want to keep pretty solid. You know, when we're building things up and we got, you know, deep spaces, we want to close as much of those off just because we don't want things to, you know, be visible. We don't want liner to show. But we had this cool opportunity. He got these resin shipwrecks that he had purchased. We cut them down to size so they could fit, and we embedded them into the rockwork underneath the pond. Now, you can't see it from up top. We did that, and we put some colored gems all throughout the bottom of the pond. It's like a treasure hunt for them. And right now, in this shallow area, the 3-foot section, they're doing it with goggles, and he's going to take them little by little into the scuba diving world and get them breathing underwater. So it's just a different way to think about how these things get constructed. It's not just rock and water and clean water that you can swim in and see through. We can really take advantage of as much creativity as you give us. If you have a special, unique hobby that you have, or you have some really sentimental trinkets or some statues, or, you know, we can always incorporate them into these pond features.
Rec ponds are just incredible because they look good year-round, right? So swimming pools usually end up putting a cover across for a bit large part of the season. These look good year-round. Like you said, there's no chemicals in here. The aquatic plants are going to be doing the job of filtering the water, along with a lot of other things with the biological filtration and some bottom bogs and some other things that has to happen. But in the end, This one is a pond with no fish that stays clear, no chemicals, and you're able to jump in and out of this thing all you want.
Elevation's difficult to get started on this project. Everything kind of had to come up. So we do what we do. Created a nice big berm to hold everything together so nothing's settling and leaking and falling over the edges, but not giving us that volcano look that we hate to see out in these awesome ponds. So I mean, this is a big filter. Like it's oversized for the footprint of the pond. We did that intentionally. It is gonna get heavy use with kids in there. He's got some awesome plans to get his grandkids like scuba diving and getting into that lifestyle, and potentially fish in the next couple of years are going to get added to this. But we just wanted to make it big, not just because it was needed, but also just to play around in.
Right.
You know, that we got the steps running up and around, so they come in here, they jump off the rocks. But the way this works is it just takes all this water. You see a lot of water moving over the top. We have a certain flow coming up through all the different gravel. There's 2 feet of gravel aggregate coming that's trapping sediment and silt, and it's creating some beneficial bacteria growth that happens and colonizes on the rocks, feeds the plants, starts that whole cycle that gives us the results that we're seeing right now, which is clean and clear and healthy water.
Clean and clear water.
Yeah.
So the plants are actually, they're thriving off of it, but in a way you want the plants good and hungry because you know that they're using up all the nutrients or as much of the nutrient load as you can.
Put a spillway bowl on. If you can't, you know, as we noticed, you got the koi pond that has a spillway bowl. We got a spillway bowl here, and we did that to create some consistency across. We got an urn here. And we did that to create some consistency across because as you walked in and you saw your different fountains, we didn't want it to just be, hey, here's a whole bunch of fountains and then nothing throughout the rest of the property. So we had to bring some of that into here, and I think you guys did an incredible job. That spillway bowl is also doing the job of bringing all that extra water in on top, which is able to create the waterfalls that we want, but still put the right amount of water to the bottom. You added the biofalls as well, just for some additional volume, maybe even a little more filtration.
Be able to jump in from multiple spots too. The only spot we really just didn't want jumping to happen was kind of around the fire pit.
Yep.
So that's more of a plant shelf, but we've got some irregular snapped edge bluestone steppers that is just welcomes you to come right in. They're flat, level, you're not worried about hurting your feet. It's a nice formal stairway. Coming out the other way, a little more rustic. Got some flat boulders. You know, they're not 6 or 7 inches. They're for climbing on. It's like if you're climbing out of a quarry, you know, if you used to jump and swim in quarries, and just have these little, you know, couple inches of rocks peeking out everywhere where they can step across and jump into the deep to the
way this
plunge
waterfall is broken up right here, I mean, you got a little going each way perfectly, the way they spill over. For this much water flow, and you have like a 12-foot waterfall there, I think it's beautiful how it all came together.
Yeah, it took some tweaking and some moving around. You know, we get it as close as we can based on how the rock looks and what we want it to do.
So, Erwin, it's been an absolute pleasure. I really appreciate you having us out today, showing us everything. Zach, incredible job. I think it came out absolutely incredible.
You're happy, I'm happy.
Yeah.
Hey, if you got any questions, please put it in the comments below. Please remember to like and subscribe. Until next time, keep building your outdoor dreams.